Comparison: the 2024 Ford Everest versus 2024 Toyota Fortuner. What's the difference? Heavy-duty 4x4 off-road wagons with rugged body-on-frame construction are enduringly popular in Australia, as they provide a practical and comfortable solution for many families needing weekday SUV practicality and weekend off-road/towing capability. However, the reality is that many of these vehicles will never venture further from the bitumen than a gravel car park, so the extra weight, complexity, and much higher price of a 4x4 drivetrain is often not needed. A practical alternative is a 4x2 rear-wheel drive version, which offers the same rugged appearance and payload/tow ratings as a 4x4 but with a lighter curb weight, simpler drivetrain and above all big savings in purchase price. In this context, we recently spent a week aboard the entry-level rear-drive variant of Ford's popular Everest range, to see how it compares to its four-wheel drive sibling in this urban role. The Toyota Fortuner Crusade is a strange beast. It's a four-wheel drive that feels like a Hilux hybrid, but it lacks the fun of its UTA sibling, despite being able to seat 7. The four-wheel drive capabilities, seat configuration and high ride should be a winning combo, but it sits awkwardly in Toyota's SUV lineup. It's not as family-oriented as the Kluger and not as refined as the Prado. It's like that cousin that you only see once a year and don't know well, you're not quite sure what to do with them. I've been driving the top of the range Crusade for a week to get to know it for you. And my family of 3 has put it through its paces. Let's see how it fared. Verdict: if you like the idea of Everest ownership without the towering price tags of premium 4x4 model grades, the Ambiente 4x2 makes sense, particularly if you need a 3,500 kg tow rating and don't need to venture far from the bitumen. Apart from the overly cramped optional third-row seating for adults, there's little we can fault about this vehicle. So, after a week of driving the Toyota Fortuner Crusade, did it have a podium finish for my family? I was hopeful, but no. The driving performance was mixed, and only being able to fit 2 car seats will limit flexibility for younger growing families. I don't like the way the third row is stowed, as it makes the boot a bit awkward to use. Combined with the retro-feeling tech and short servicing intervals, there can be some improvement here, especially in a market that is surging forward with all of those elements. I did enjoy the high driving position, safety features, and the forgiving suspension, though. My son liked the feverish red color and that he didn't need my help to climb in and out of it. Design: being an entry-level model, the interior is relatively basic but still neat and functional. There's no leather or flashy chrome to be found here, but there are satin chrome highlights to provide visual contrast with the predominantly gray interior theme. It's easy to climb aboard thanks to assist handles on the A and B pillars. The driver and front passenger have ample room, and the second row seat also feels spacious, even for tall people like me, 186 centimeters, thanks to ample headroom and the concave shape of the front seat backrests that contribute to welcome kneeroom. These optional third-row seats are the only shortcoming in the Everest's internal packaging, for tall people at least, as they're not as accommodating as some rival 7-seater wagons we've tested. Although the roof lining is slightly concave, the top of my head was pressed firmly into it. And adults seated in the second row needed to slide their seat forward to provide adequate third-row knee and foot space, greatly reducing theirs in the process. So, to avoid a potential mutiny, the third row is strictly a kid zone. Nothing discernible to me has been changed since the last model, but let me paint the picture for you. Imagine a dual-cab Hilux with a boot and you'll come up with something similar to the Fortuner. It sits proudly at 1835 mm tall. The sides are almost slab-like and it's squared off at the rear, which the chunky C-pillar and dark windows do nothing to detract from. It's definitely prettier up front with a nicely tapered bonnet. City dwellers need not beware. At 4,795 mm long and 1855 mm wide, it's accommodating in a tight car park. Practicality: the Ambiente 4X2's 2,261 kg curb weight is a substantial 108 kg lighter than the 4x4 version, but that doesn't translate to a corresponding gain in payload, as its 739 kg rating is only 8 kg more than the 4x4. However, they share the same 3,000 kg GVM, 3,500 kg brake tow rating and 6,250 kg GCM, the latter determining how much it can legally carry in tow at the same time. That means if you wanted to tow 3,500 kg of brake trailer, you'd have to reduce the maximum payload by 250 kg to avoid exceeding the GCM. And that would leave 489 kg of payload, which could be all but used up by 5 large adults without luggage. Fact is, few, if any, owners would need to tow 3,500 kg. However, having that class benchmark capacity affords reassuring reserves of performance and safety when towing in the more common 2,000 to 3,000 kg range, for which this vehicle is ideally suited. The Everest has 259 liters of internal load volume with all seat rows upright, which expands to 898 liters with the optional third row folded flat and a van-like 1823 liters, or more than 1.8 cubic meters, with both the second and third rows folded. Front of cabin storage includes small and large bottle holders and bins in each front door, plus pop-out small bottle/cup holders on each side of the dash under the air vents, an overhead glasses holder and upper and lower glove boxes separated by an open storage shelf. The center console has 2 more small bottle/cup holders and a box with padded lid that doubles as a driver's elbow rest. Second row passengers get bottle holders and small bins in each door plus pockets on the front seat backrests and a fold-down center armrest with 2 more small bottle/cup holders. Third row ticket holders also get cup holders on each side. The hinged rear section of load floor can also be opened to access a large bin beneath. The interior isn't terribly practical for a 7-seater, so there's room for improvement. And that seems to be the running theme for the Fortuner. First and second row occupants will enjoy the most room, but it's best to think of the third row as sometimes seats. It was easy for my 6-year-old to get in and out with the side steps, and he had a great view from the wide rear window. Individual storage is good with a double glove box, cooled middle console, 2 cup holders and drink bottle holders in the first and second rows plus an extra 2 retractable cup holders in the dash, hurrah! Third row occupants miss out on them completely, though. However, I think the storage bins and map pockets are a tad too shallow to be that useful. The boot space is on the smaller side and the way the third row stows on the side encroaches on the space and creates a large blind spot on an already chunky C-pillar. With all 3 rows in action, there is 200 L of cargo capacity available, but you can stow the third row to get 716 L. If you want maximum cargo capacity, the middle seats can also be folded and that figure jumps up to 1080 L. The tech feels retro and not in a good way. The 8.0-inch touchscreen multimedia system is plain on the graphics and laggy, plus on the smaller side for the market now. It also only has wired Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, but it's fairly easy to connect. Also, there is only one USB-A port in the whole car and no wireless charging pad. You do have a couple of 12-volt ports and a handy 220-volt plug for when you're camping or something, but that's it for charging, which is surprising for a family SUV nowadays. Price and features. Our test vehicle is the Everest Ambiente 4x2, which is available only with a 2.0-liter biturbo diesel engine and 10-speed automatic transmission for a list price of $53,490. In standard Arctic white paint and 5-seat configuration, this is the lowest priced entry point to Everest ownership by a considerable margin, given it's $5,000 cheaper than the 4x4 Ambiente that occupies the next rung up the model ladder. However, our example is fitted with the 7-seat option, $950, which adds a third row of seats with additional roof-mounted air vents to match. The interior offers stylish pattern fabric seating, 8-way manually adjusted driver's seat including lumbar support, height and reach adjustable steering wheel, electronic parking brake, 60/40th split rear seat with adjustable backrests, wireless phone charging, 3 12-volt power outlets and 2 front USB ports. There's also dual-zone climate control and an 8.0-inch configurable color instrument display for the driver, plus a big 10.1-inch color touchscreen in the central dash. This controls multiple vehicle functions including the 8-speaker multimedia system, with connectivity that includes Ford Pass Connect and Apple/Android devices. There are 3 models for the Fortuner, and the Crusade sits at the top. As with everything, there's been a minor price hike since the last model, but you can pick this up for $62,945 before on-road costs. There are some nice standard features, like electric heated front leather seats, a powered tailgate, 3-zone climate control, wired Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, Bluetooth connectivity, 7 seats, 2/3/2 config, 18-inch alloy wheels and side steps. Our model is fitted with an optional tow bar kit, which adds a tow bar, tow ball, and trailer wiring for an extra $1,350. It's a little annoying that each item has to be individually purchased, so make sure if the model you're looking at has a tow ball, that the wiring is connected, too. Compared to the market, you get a decent array of accessories and features for the price tag.